to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Mumbi Spirituals. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much on your own terms. We are the first generation in a long time that actually have enough mental clarity to start to get back who we really are, family. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. The awakening is nothing like what we thought it would be, family. And there's something that's been on my mind, especially with everything that's been happening in Burkina Faso, with Ibrahim Traore and the massive global African rally that happened on April 30th, 2025, where millions of people came out in support of a a free Africa that lives in dignity and of course supporting Ibrahim Traore. And there's something that's been on my mind. But before I even get into that, family, special shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Ancient Sound Healing Sessions with Beverly B. Now, Beverly B is an ancient sound healer, and she actually offers a free live session every Thursday and Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, family, where she interacts with her audience, and it's absolutely amazing. From her hometown in Hawaii, well, not her hometown, but from where she's based in Hawaii. Really, really therapeutic and transformational, family. So definitely check her out for that. And if you can't catch her live, she also offers private sessions, and you can get those on her website. The links are down below. And she's actually started something new on her Ancient Live free sessions. I think every Friday she actually does an interview and an interaction with someone from the community, family, from the community of the Ash. So definitely check her out. This is my co-host, Errol. Errol, come on, off, come on. Definitely check her out, family. So there's a lot of evidence that has come out in the last couple of years that shows that the map of the world is, that globe we see. First of all, I'm a flat earther, family. I actually I don't believe, I know we live on a plane of existence, what some would call a dome, as in the earth is like this and there's something like this over it, and we are surrounded by an ice wall, so like no one gets in, no one gets out. Stories for other days. But there's a lot that's come out recently that shows that, you see, the real map is like what they use for the United Nations and the WHO and all of that. If you look deeper into that, you'll see. But there's a lot, and I talked about this like 4 years ago, how they had shrunk the size of the motherland up to 14 times. So it's supposed to be like 7,300 square kilometers or something like that. And they shrunk it 13 times so that it would appear to be smaller than Europe. And they actually went a step further where, because they were thinking of mental slavery, mental colonialism. So not only did they shrink the Mama Africa, but they also turned the map upside down. And so a lot of people say that South Africa is actually North Africa and is actually the tip that is close to, they would want to say the North Pole, but that is close to the ice walls, which is why you get winter there now and all this crazy weather. But we shouldn't believe anything that we're told, and that, and there's so many videos and articles and podcasts now that have been done about the real size of Africa and how Africa is upside down, which would mean that the Nile, it would make more sense even for the Nile and everything. So what if, family? And also, they said for domination, in order to make it look like the Western nations were dominant, they put them on top of the world, using the same lesser magic philosophy that they used to make sure that we saw God as a Mzungu man. It was the same kind of, tenets of mental slavery family. But now, this is where it concerns us. If the map is upside down, then would that mean that what we know as East Africa is actually West Africa? And would it mean that the great revival that was supposed to start on the motherland and spread across the world, which everyone has been looking to Kenya and the East African nations for it to start off there, could it be that the great revival, the great renaissance, the great revolution is actually has already started and is actually ongoing, because it was supposed to happen from the side of what we call West Africa? What if West Africa, the Burkina Faso, the Niger, and the Mali of the continent are actually on the east, and the great revival has already begun and is in great earnest? I've been feeling that for a really long time, family, because, Timbuktu was in Mali. Like, they have some of the most ancient scrolls. And when they found out, just an interesting fact, when they found out that, the French were coming to invade and try and take over their knowledge, they gave a piece of all the manuscripts to every single family, especially the most ancient of texts. And so what if that's the spirit of the East? And there's a Muslim who I had talked to with this, and they were like, no, we know the sun rises from the East, and I don't know what. Do we? Do we? Because especially when we saw how on April 30th, so many Africans from Jamaica, from Gabon, from Ghana, from living in the divided states, living in the divided kingdom, living, in Europe, in Belgium, in France, wherever, came out and actually, demonstrated and stood in solidarity with a liberated Africa. Like, it was such a show of support that has not been seen in many years. And the implications of that means that the great revival that our ancestors and our ancient ones talked about, prophesied about, put in our, oral tradition, put in our storylines, made sure those prophecies were passed down from generation to generation, that there would come a time when a fire would be ignited in the eastern part of Africa and it would spread across the world. And then the biblical now pastors and preachers remix that. But what if East is West and West is East? What if the revolution was supposed to have been triggered from the ancient Stargate that is Sahel, that is Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso? And from there, it would spread to the rest of the world. And that would mean that revival has already come. It's been here a couple of years. And we've seen how, certain things had to be unlocked for the three kings of the East, we'll say now. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. For those three kings to take their position, they had to do it spiritually first and mentally. And they have faced a lot of opposition, a lot of threats, a lot of attack as they've tried to wrestle back control of their nations. And a lot of the Africans across the world have realized that this thing we call freedom in Africa ain't freedom. It's conditional freedom. It's you can live how you want, which is not great because of engineered poverty, a lot of germ warfare, etc., etc. But you have to trade with us, you have to use our currency system, you have to use our democracy, and there's so much interference with our leaders and everything. So it's not us just saying, well, Africa is going to be free, but there is so much that has to be done on a spiritual, mental, occult, psychological level. And these three kings standing up in West Africa, East Africa, have actually unlocked something that is spreading like wildfire, because everyone wants an Ibrahim Traore. Although it's not just him. Check out the video I just did, family, where I talk about there's three of them. The three kings, that's what I call them. But everyone wants a Burkina Faso moment. Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Mozambique, South Africa. Everyone wants to have, to be free, the whole of the motherland, and now is our time. And these three kings with Ibrahim Traore at the center, or, being brought up a lot, because it's like they want to make him look like a lonely individual leader, not make it look like there's three of them and this thing could spread. Because there's a lot that they have, you see, they're the ones who started earnestly taking back the mining, the gold mines, taking back the oil, kicking out the French military and stuff like that. And now look what's happening to Ghana. Ghana has also said that all local gold mining should be done through this Ghanaian thing, but that they would be the ones who would be trading. They're basically kicking out all foreigners from local gold trade. That is huge. And, Ghana would not have been able to take such a strong stance without the three kings, being there, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Same thing with the new female president that has just entered Namibia family. She's kicked out a lot of foreign miners. A lot of mining is going back to the government and to the country, even though I think 70% of the land in Namibia is still owned by Germans. But there is a new sheriff in town. And she's reclaiming at least the little that is still there for the locals. So the revival is here, basically. And it has already begun in West Africa, aka East Africa. And it is already spreading like wildfire. And it is something that is not turning back. It can't cool. It can't be shut down. And when Langley, is that the name of that army general from the divided states, starts to threaten, Ibrahim Traore, or when Macron says, France can't leave Africa right now. Africa wouldn't know how to run itself. I mean, those are the things, those are the stories, those are the narratives they used on our parents. We're way beyond that. This is the new day we've waited for. That's basically why I wanted to do this show, family. We honor the ancestors in the wind. That's basically why I wanted to do this show, to say we have already moved past that. We are totally in a new dispensation, family. Just look at the kind of conversations the motherland is having, that you're having in your nation. Look at the conversations that are on TikTok, that are on, it's like we're a mirror to each other. And the countries where dictators are trying to emerge, like Tanzania and Uganda, are having it hard. And countries like, Kenya, where the president, a shoe was thrown at him. There's been all kinds of demonstrations, all kinds of, pushback to corruption and greed and exploitation. These are the times they talked about. We're right in the middle of them. So make sure that you're adding your energy, that you're adding your best wishes, family, as you pray for yourself, as you meditate for yourself, as you do affirmations for yourself. say a few affirmations for the motherland, that we will be free in this generation, that all the wealth that was taken shall return, that the star of the motherland shall be removed from the shackles in the Vatican, in freaking the divided kingdom, in Buckingham Palace, Windsor. It will be, and it will come back to us, and that we will come back into our minds, into the knowledge of who we've always been and who we are heading into becoming once again. Anyway, special shout out to the sponsor of today's show, family, Ancient Sound Healing with Beverly B. Join her every Thursday and Friday for a free Ancient Sound Healing session live on YouTube and Clubhouse, family, at Beverly B Music from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Fridays, she also does special interviews with members of the community. So definitely check her out for that. Become part of her growing community and growing family. Thanks, Beverly B, for sponsoring today's show, family. And if you would like to sponsor a Dr. Mumbi show, definitely get in touch, mumbi.saraki@gmail.com. And I'm so grateful to every single person that has got in touch and, expressed an interest of supporting us in this way. Stay uplifted, family. Know that the revival is already here. The revolution is already here. The change is already here. The awakening, the new era, it's here. It's happening now. So be more aware of your current reality, because the most power you have is in this moment. Tuko pamoja. To all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines.